Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Steele is the latest in a long line of Republicans who felt compelled to apologize to Limbaugh after criticizing him. Over the weekend, Steele called Limbaugh an entertainer and incendiary. Last night, Steele apologized and backpedaled hard. Quote, "My intent was not to go after Rush. I have enormous respect for Rush Limbaugh. I was maybe a little bit inarticulate. There was no attempt on my part to diminish his voice or his leadership." Today, Steele says he spoke with Limbaugh and added, quote, "We're all good." Texas Congressman and former presidential candidate Ron Paul joins us now live from Washington. And Congressman, let's get right to the heart of this. Rush Limbaugh said the following, quote, "The dirty little secret is that every Republican in this country wants Obama to fail, but none of them have the guts to say so." Congressman Paul, do you and every Republican want President Obama to fail?
No, I don't even think of it in those terms. I want nobody to have credibility on bad ideas. If they're promoting socialism and welfareism and totalitarianism and foreign intervention, I don't want that to be successful. But I want the message to be that liberty works, that free markets work, sound money works, and therefore I take it out of the context of personalities. So I think the personalities are irrelevant. It's only the issues that count. It's only the ideas that count. It's our philosophy that count. And I've been wanting to make the case.
Well, fair point, but let's just be absolutely clear. So when Rush Limbaugh says that every Republican wants President Obama to fail, are you willing to take this opportunity to say on that point, and even that very narrow point if you want, Rush Limbaugh is wrong?
No, but I'd be quite willing to say that when you hear Obama say that what his goals are, I want him to be successful. But I'm
asking about Rush Limbaugh.
Well, I don't even think about him because I don't.
Okay, but Congressman, we're thinking about it right now. Everybody's thinking about it. Why is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult to say, hey, when Rush Limbaugh says, look, we can all agree or disagree that maybe the president's policies are destined to fail. That's a point of view. But when Rush Limbaugh says, I want President Obama to fail, why can't Republicans say Rush Limbaugh is wrong when he says that?
I think a few has, and I think it's a matter of semantics, and I think we dwell too much on this semantics rather than dealing with the real issues. Why don't we ask questions like I'd like to, if I had a reasonable intellectual debate with Rush Limbaugh, I would ask him, why doesn't he stand up more for civil liberties? Why doesn't he explain why he doesn't, he has supported the Patriot Act? Why does he not
Congressman, that's such a great point, and I think you would win that argument. But here's my point. How can we have that argument when even you, Ron Paul, are not willing to take this opportunity to say, when Rush Limbaugh says that every Republican wants President Obama to fail, Rush Limbaugh is wrong? How can we have the next conversation if you're not willing to have that first one?
Well, because you want to control the semantics and the definitions. Yes, he's wrong if he doesn't have the same understanding as somebody else, but he's absolutely wrong. And you can't put your definition on a particular word about failure. I want those goals to be successful, yet I don't want his philosophy to be successful. So it's two different things. And in the media, you like to personalize and have a fight going on, and that's the way politics works. But I would much rather talk about, why Rush Limbaugh doesn't support my position on looking into the Federal Reserve and being able to audit the Federal Reserve. Now, that's an important issue, not whether or not I can say something that is confrontational to Rush Limbaugh. I think philosophically I have confrontation because I was disappointed with Rush because he is a good conservative, yet he never said hardly boo against George Bush. He supported all that big spending. Did he complain about George Bush? Did he complain about all those wars that were going on that caused us so much trouble? So that's the kind of issue the issues that I want to talk about, and I will be quite willing to challenge Rush Limbaugh on those issues. But just to pick out a word or two and say he's just wrong, I don't think that solves any problem.
Well, here's a related issue. In terms of solving problems, including these very important issues that you raise, is Rush Limbaugh the head of the Republican Party right now?
No. No, I mean, I don't know.
He's not?
How could he be a head of a party? I mean, he has a lot to say.
When Republicans are so quick to apologize to him, as Michael Steele has, when Senator Barrasso, who was on air last night, wasn't even willing to say that Rush Limbaugh is wrong. He wouldn't go as far as you have. Well, it just seems, Congressman, like so many Republicans are terrified of Rush Limbaugh. We're just trying to explore that.
Well, he's very influential, but they shouldn't be terrified of him. You know, why should they be? But they don't have any answers. They don't have an explanation on why the party is shrinking and how you can reach out, how you can reach people who care about personal liberties, how we can take our philosophy and translate it into real policy. We talk about personal liberties and balanced budgets. The Republican Party lost credibility because it didn't do any of that. It violated the privacy of individuals. It flaunted the spending and ran up these huge deficits, got us into wars that are not winnable, and those are the real issues. That's why it's been translated into personality squabbles and who's running what, because they're really not talking about why the Republican Party is a minority party and why they lost. And I think as long as they do that, they're not going to solve their problem, and we will continue to dwell on Steele versus Rush Limbaugh. And quite frankly, I don't think that's a relevant debate. I think the debate ought to be our foreign policy. Why don't we have a foreign policy of non-intervention? And why don't we deal with the Federal Reserve?
Congressman, you raised some very important issues, and we always appreciate having you on. Good of you.